Hello and welcome back to Lions of the Republic here on the Wrestling Republic YouTube page. I'm back. That's right, everyone. Ben's back. Yay! Thank you so much to Clark for stepping in and filling in for me. Super awesome show from last week. Do go check it out if you want to find out how Suki wound up having dinner with Jay White, ELP, and Juice Robinson, which sounds like the beginning of a joke. Jay White, ELP, and Juice Robinson walk into a Japanese restaurant. So thank you so much for that. Do go check out last week's episode if you haven't already. So for today's episode, we've got a little bit to cover. We've got some general news, and then we're getting into a faction focus. And since we have an honorary member of the Bullet Club with us, we thought it'd only be appropriate to start with Bullet Club on this series of faction focuses.
How are you doing, Ben? You were
Pretty tired. It's quite early in the morning UK time, and we've had a weekend where there have been a lot of shows on that I've been following with WWE, with AEW. For those of you who are interested in kind of the New Japan AEW crossover, it's obviously not the biggest story coming out of All Out last night, since things happened in the press conference and the main event, and like so much stuff happened. But check out on the pre-show Eddie Kingston versus Tomohiro Ishii, the rematch from New Japan Strong. Eddie won this time, so they're 1-1. Hopefully we get a third series, a third in the series. Also interesting, if you're interested in Japanese wrestling styles and Japanese wrestling history, Eddie followed rule number 1 of King's Road, which is if they kick out of your finisher, make up a new finisher. He's got this lovely Northern Lights bomb now. It looks absolutely lethal, and that's what scored him the 3 count. Tomohiro Ishii once again kicking out of the Hurricane. So that's going to be a fun series to watch develop. Lovely storyline, 15 minutes of two men just chopping and battering each other. So if free on AEW's YouTube on 0 Hour, you also get a fun lucha tag match with Ty and Sammy versus Ruby Soho and Ortiz, other than the fact that Ruby gets injured in the finish. And also a hook squash, but yay, you do get 15 minutes of strong style and King's Road style meshing very nicely.
Yes, that's amazing. Yeah, wait, was Ty and Sammy the one that they got chased after a golf cart or something?
The golf cart was Sammy and Matt Hardy. Whoa, that seems like ages ago with the first Stadium Stampede match.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's with that, this AEW stuff isn't what we're here focused on. We've got Burning Spirit tours.
We're here to talk about New Japan, not the AEW shit. So
Oh, okay. So we are what? How long into the recording are we?
oh yeah, I think we are. Oh god, I don't know. I think a few minutes.
So if you predicted 3 minutes for how long will it take for Suki to swear, you predicted correctly. Your next episode, drop it in the comments. How long do you think it'll take?
Yes, surprisingly. Luckily, we're not monetized, so I can do all the shit I want.
Help! Okay, so Burning Spirit. What's the news, Suki?
Alright, Burning Spirit. First day, we got TMDK with Shane Haste, formerly known as Shane Thorne, on NXT. He is now in New Japan along with his fellow TMDK brethren, Jonah, the Top Dog, and Bad Dude Tito, where they scored the pin, and then I guess that's gonna build up to a declaration of power in Ryogoku next month. Also, we got 2 new stars debuting in Japan. We got I think one of them not one of them not debuting, but he's evolved. We got Hikuleo, the young gun of Bullet Club, and we got Gideon Gray, who has 2 losses now, and both up the L in both days. One by I think 6 or 9, and then the next day in the next day in Nagoya by Chase Owens. So Gideon Gray, not a good start to New Japan, but people are calling him cute on social media, so that's good.
Oh, that's interesting to know that Gideon's getting that reaction because he's very good at what he does, kind of being a heel, but he's not as kind of he's not like a crowd favorite heel in the UK because he for those who don't know much about Gideon, he's from Revolution Pro, which is kind of the British indie that the United Empire have a very strong presence in. Will Ospreay having been their champion for well over a year, and then having just recently dropped it. Interestingly, Gideon Gray is the person who is managing Yota Tsuji at the moment in Rev Pro. He previously managed Great Khan, obviously kind of cutting promos for them in English when their English wasn't as good as it is now. So maybe we see Yota joining the United Empire at some point
Yes.
because that would seem to make more sense than them having someone who's mainly a manager
Yeah.
on their roster. But at the moment, pin eating is what I'd expect.
Yep. Gideon Gray. I don't expect him to have much of a good first tour in Japan since he already picked up 2 Ls.
Mm.
So I hope he gets better. I hope he gets better. But he's actually he's actually a pretty good fan favorite on social media, where people are doing fan art on him. So next, Burning Spear, I believe that's most of it, except if you want to hear more about ELP versus Shingo Takagi, that that ELP is my daddy's thing is still going on. So if you're down with that,
Yeah, let's hear about ELP being Shingo Takagi's daddy, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say.
It's like a side. It's not a big feud, but it's like a side feud right now. But uh, by looking at the cards of the tour, most of it's just ELP being Shingo's daddy, and then Shingo refusing to be he Shingo refusing to be ELP's son. I guess I don't know how to explain that. But
Worth
firstly,
noting, worth noting here that Shingo is older than ELP.
yes. But ELP wasn't on the first show, but he will be appearing in later shows during the tour.
Yeah, fair
Yes.
enough.
Yes. So because that covers Burning Spear. Also, uh by the time recording this, tonight Japan time is first time New Japan will allow fans to be cheering in Korakuen.
Yeah, so there'll probably be some highlights of that up and around social media. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on that to see what's going on there. We might get the first match they've got booked for the shows that allow cheering is a Suzuki entrance, so you will get to hear Kaze Ninare once again, um, which will be wonderful.
Yeah.
So definitely keep an eye on that, and there might be some developments because I think it's going to wind up on New Japan World.
So yeah, it's also free still. It's very
Oh,
good.
nice.
Oh yeah, also for the Kazenare, New Japan's New Japan English Twitter said that this will be the first time Japan will hear Kazenare by the fans for the first time. That's false.
That's so
Gampro,
false.
I was there. Gampro, how dare you uh, get Gampro out of the picture when he demolished no, not Tyson Maiguchi, I think Katsumura Shuichiro in Otaku. So if you're into Cyber Fight Wrestle Universe, just sign up there and go see Wrestle Sekigahara. I know that this is a New Japan podcast, but I still love Gampro and all the cyber yeah, and all the cyber fight stuff. Go watch it. Don't leave Gampro out of the picture. Get your shit right, New Japan.
So yeah, other than that, I know it was kind of discussed last week, but we've had some more talent announced for Royal Quest 2 in the UK, 1st and 2nd of October. So Okada, Naito, Hiromu Takahashi, Tomohiro Ishii, Will Ospreay, Tetsuya Naito, no, I've said Naito already, Zack Sabre Jr., your IWGP Heavyweight World Tag Team Champions, FTR, Jay White, and various other individuals are probably going to be there, including Aussie Open, who I forgot to mention until now. So FTR's first defense of the IWGP Tag Team titles, possibly. They have said they want to go over and work tours in Japan, but obviously with the G1 and also Dax Harwood being a bit injured, that shoulder injury in the match that they had at Forbidden Door was exaggerated for the purposes of the match, but he has been working with a slightly dinged up shoulder and back for quite some time. So hopefully they've been able to take some time off. They did have a trios match last night at All Out, which was quick and fairly straightforward. Nobody got hurt, nobody got re-injured, so I hope that was all okay. So that's Royal Quest and Burning Spirit. That's pretty much all we need to know in terms of what's gone on in New Japan. Is there anything of note coming up other than the return of cheering, Suki?
Not that much, no.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's about it right now for New Japan.
yeah, I mean it's quite nice to have a quiet week on the news front after the last few episodes where we've been speed running 45 minutes of news and we still talk way too quickly and
Yeah.
the show overruns. So let's move to the meat and potatoes, to use an idiom, of
Yes.
today's episode. So I'm willing to bet that most people watching this show know the kind of story of Bullet Club. And if you don't know the story of Bullet Club, absolutely go and check out the New Japan YouTube series, the Recount Bullet Club. Kevin Kelly does a very good retelling of the ins, the outs, the twists and the turns from 2013 till about 2019 of the different eras, the different leaderships, the conflicts, the new memberships, and things like that. So I don't think we need to retread the ground that New Japan have done so well.
Yes.
So, how are Bullet Club doing right now in Japan?
Bullet Club to phrase a good Cody Rhodes. Bullet Club is fine, except for House of Torture. Fuck those guys. Except for House of Torture. Fuck those guys.
I swear we are going to wind up with an episode. I swear we're just going to do a whole episode dedicated to House of Torture, which is just Suki screams angrily for 45 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking.
So, right now, Bullet Club are arguably the top faction in New Japan, again, because Jay White has got the title. He is the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, and he is doing Jay White things. He's running his mouth, insulting anyone who listens to who he talks to, and largely beating everyone up.
Yes. He recently, if you're not that familiar, he recently did the most Jay White thing that he can do. He recently did a promo where he only clapped his hands to mock the Japanese crowd. So he just got Oiwa, the young lion, so yeah, I guess to like hold the mic for him, and it was like, yep, knock it down, Oiwa, knock it down, Oiwa. So that's the most
Yeah,
he can do.
yeah, I remember seeing that. The hilarious thing about the Jay White clap only promo is that you could recognize when he was doing the I am the number one asset in all pro wrestling. Like he did his entire
He doesn't.
hello, I'm Jay White. I am the man who single-handedly sold out
Man is
Madison Square Garden.
man's a United States.
Yeah, he's such an effective heel. And the day that he turns babyface will be amazing. But it was a super, super cool piece of work from him with mocking the clap crowds. Because when he left before he did the USFJ Open Challenge, he was sort of leaning babyface after that, lost to Kota Ibushi. But he comes back, he reestablishes himself as the undisputed top heel in New Japan by beating Okada, mocking the crowds, and then running through the G1 and screaming a lot of profanity when he lost to Tamatonga.
See, I can make creative if you want. No, just kidding. Yes, and he also has a defense. He also has a title defense coming up next month at Ryogoku against Tamatonga, which will decide the Wrestle Kingdom main event, which will be the winner of that match against Okada.
So I think it's a fairly safe presumption to say that Jay White will carry the belt into Wrestle Kingdom, because as much as Tamatonga is good, he's not quite yet at the level of main eventing Wrestle Kingdom.
Yes.
So that's Jay. He's still doing Jay White things, incredibly well.
Yes.
Who else is of note in the Bullet Club?
I guess when talking about the Bullet Club, I think we shall talk about its first leader, Prince Devitt, also known as Finn Balor, currently in WWE. So Prince Devitt, normally he was an amazing junior in New Japan. He was how many times has he held the IWGP tag belts? No, the junior tag belts.
A lot of times. I will just get the precise number for you. Yeah, so he did a lot of teaming with Taguchi as Apollo 55, was it?
Yeah, Apollo 55.
Apollo 55.
Yes.
So he held the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship three times, the Tag Team Championship 6 times. He won the Best of the Super Juniors in 2010 and 2013, and he won the J Sports Crown Openweight 6-man tag tournament with Taguchi and Goto.
Yes. So I guess we should go into how created the club, because he is the mastermind of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So Prince Devitt, he I guess he was I remember this very messed up, but from what I remember, he was his vision on pro wrestling changed a bit, and then he became more aggressive, and then he changed his style a bit, and then in, I believe it was their IWGP Junior Tag Team Championship match against Time Splitters. So yeah, with Apollo 55. Taguchi was like, stay to the style, and then he was like, no, I'm gonna go all out on. And then that match is when Bad Luck Fale came in. Big Boss Man. He looks. Surprisingly, I watched it back in the Shinkansen, but he looked more. I guess. I think he just came back from an excursion, and then I like how Fale just evolved over the decades, like fucking Pokemon. And then, so yeah, like Fale just gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, and honestly, if you want some good kind of Bullet Club social media content, follow Fale on Instagram. He constantly shows us pictures of his dinner, so you know what's not to like there. But B, he's also really good at kind of showing how Bullet Club, like what life's like outside of the ring, kind of really showing the brotherhood that exists between these men. And also you get some really interesting kind of behind the scenes stuff from the New Zealand dojo, which he's running.
Yes.
So, you know, generally quite a useful source of information. And he also does some quite good motivational speaking.
So, oh yeah, he does like those inspirational speeches. So, Fale came in, he ambushed Time Splitters and Taguchi, where where Balor. See, I'm just gonna call him Balor now.
Yeah.
Balor said, "I am the real rock and roller. He is my bouncer." He gets on Polly's shoulders, just hops out, goes into Gorilla. That's technically just the start of Bullet Club. And then, yes, and a few months later, I think it was Dontaku, I believe, of 13, where Carl Anderson faced Hiroshi Tanahashi. And then, as Hiroshi Tanahashi is Hiroshi Tanahashi, he he defeated Carl Anderson, and Carl Anderson, when he was gonna offer a hand, Prince Devitt and Balak Fale just came in, just again, does what Bullet Club does what good natural heels do, ambushes Hiroshi Tanahashi, because I guess Bullet Club's main focus is Hiroshi Tanahashi these days.
Mm.
And then while Carl Anderson and Tamatonga, who was his like little young boy Kohai in New Japan, they just watched them ambush Hiroshi Tanahashi. And then the unspeakable happened. Carl Anderson hits a gun stun on Hiroshi Tanahashi, and then that forms the first four members of Bullet Club,
The
where
core four.
the core four members of Bullet Club, where three of
Yeah.
them are already gone now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, if you're interested, viewers, in watching some sort of getting some understanding of what Prince Devitt / Finn Balor was like in Bullet Club, but maybe don't have a New Japan World subscription, definitely watch some of his matches from NXT, from his second NXT run where he had this whole Prince gimmick. It's very similar to the Prince Devitt real rock and roller persona. It got outright compared to it a lot. He even did his old kind of taunts all the time. It's definitely worth watching if you want to understand what it was like in New Japan at the time.
Yeah.
To sort of before we kind of go much further into the details of, because otherwise we're going to have to spend like a whole hour's episode explaining the Elite and the Civil War and things like that, and then everything that happened in ROH. So I think what it's worth noticing is the reason that Bullet Club was such a big deal in 2013 was because of the sheer disrespect they had for everything traditional about New Japan. Like you've noticed probably in your watchings of New Japan that for the view, like there isn't a lot of cheating. There isn't a lot of kind of Western style heel work.
Yeah.
Like okay, yes, the heels are the bad guys. They are generally nasty and horrible and arrogant, but they don't, go around beating down opponents outside of the matches. They don't go around kind of ambushing, cheating, steel chairing people in the back of the head, things like that. Bullet Club did all of that, and that was really kind of a shock for a lot of fans
Yeah.
because it was something new and it was something different.
Yeah, I guess the last time they had that sort of heel work was when GBH was there. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, when GBH.
Yeah,
So Makabe.
great.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, Great Bash heel, which was the stable that would then go on to largely become Chaos and then turn babyface.
Yes.
I think, yeah. Okay, so question for you, Suki. Which era of Bullet Club was your favorite? The Devitt era, the Styles era, the Elite era, or the Jay White era?
Oh, sure. To rank them, I don't have to rank them. They're all amazing eras. But to rank them from fourth place, I would put Jay's there. And
Mm-hmm.
third, I would put Devitt.
Mm-hmm.
Second, I would put Kenny. First, I'll put Styles, because when Styles came in, that's when Bullet Club erupted across Japan, where it just became like just pop culture phenomenon. They became I'm trying to find a pun to put it. They became a phenomenal states in states in pop culture.
Yeah,
Where just regardless if you're a pro wrestling fan, everyone most people were wearing like Bullet Club shirts across the street. If they know pro wrestling or not, you will guarantee that you would see at least one or two Bullet Club t-shirts on the streets when Styles came. So I guess Styles was the booster for Bullet Club at that point, and then that's when they got the big staircase to the top, I guess. Yes.
yeah, no. I would also put AJ Styles' era of Bullet Club as my favorite era because it was when we had the beginnings of the ROH crossover. It's available on YouTube, so go check out the Bullet Club entrance at 2015's War of the Worlds with with the Young Bucks coming out with their titles with Carl Anderson doing the big introduction, and then AJ Styles walking out with that amazing theme that he had, the Demigods theme, where he just walks out like he owns the place and the crowd goes ballistic. It's amazing to watch. Like, it made them feel like such a big deal. So, from my least favorite eras to my favorite era would be Devitt, uh, Devitt, Omega, White, Styles. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy all the eras. I think they're all, it's like ranking good to amazing rather than bad to good. I was less of a fan of the ending of the Elite era because of just how complicated it was to keep track of. Because you had Adam Cole trying to take over Bullet Club in ROH, you had Kenny Omega and Cody fighting over the future of Bullet Club in New Japan, and it felt like kind of, oh yes, so right, Kenny's kicked Adam Cole out of the Bullet Club and replaced him with Marty Scurll. Oh wait, now he's got to go and do exactly the same thing with Cody Rhodes in New Japan, and it's like it became a bit complicated and tangled, and the matches were still amazing, but I just felt that the whole storyline got a bit tangled up.
Yep. Uh, the Elite era. I guess we gotta spend more time on that since it's so complicated,
Mm.
so all out of the place. But I guess that's when uh, the Elite was kind of separating from uh, I guess the BCOGs at the time, where
Mm.
I guess Japanese fans were more into the Elites and BCOGs, and then that's when they become like faces or tweeners or that sort of stuff. So I guess Japanese fans cared more about this group of the Bullet Club, where all the oh, I guess I would describe it like regular school drama stories where they had this group of people that had all the shit going on, and then yeah, and then like this group of the clique just left out of the picture. So that's what I describe the elite, civil war, whatever you want to call it. But it's complicated. It's all out of the place, but it's still interesting though.
Yeah, and absolutely, like some of the best matches of that kind of time period in New Japan were the elite matches. Like them or not, they drew crowds, they drew you know, killing the business, ruining professional wrestling, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
They drew crowds, they got people in the building, and they certainly skyrocketed the popularity both in Japan and also in the West, because that was when the Okada Omega series and the sort of ROH crossovers is what really kind of got the hooks in for a lot of fans in in the US and in the West.
Yeah.
And that's largely then how we can then spiral off on a massive tangent, which ends up with the formation of AEW.
Yeah.
But the Elite leave, they go off and form AEW,
Yeah.
and Jay White takes over. And interesting bit of story here. So, back when he was a young lion, young Jamie White did a little time in the UK, where he was introduced to Prince Devitt, and so ultimately, sort of past and the present of Bullet Club form a perfect circle.
Yes, that's when. Yes, I don't know how to follow that. I don't know how to follow that up, but yes, that's when Jay White came in. He's he's the current leader of Bullet Club. I guess he has oh oh god, how should I explain it? When did he grow the beard again? Okay.
Yeah,
Yep. Oh god, this is so go. See, the reason why I'm so lost right now is Bullet Club is so broad. I don't know when to start. I don't know when to
yeah,
end. But
yeah. No, I think it's and that's a concern that gets thrown around at Bullet Club a lot, and it's something I did want to discuss.
yeah,
Is it too big?
is it too big?
Because because its membership is massive. It feels like every kind of new heel joins Bullet Club. Like it's a before the formation of the United Empire, like it was like, oh, everyone who turns heel then joins Bullet Club because Yujiro turned heel, joined Bullet Club. Uh, Evil turned heel, joined Bullet Club, and we will talk about House of Torture. Um, the joy just went out of your eyes. Gallows and Anderson turned heel and joined Bullet Club. Jay White turned heel and joined Bullet Club. Kenny Omega turned heel and joined Bullet Club. Etc. Etc. Etc.
Yeah.
For goodness sake, Stephen Amell, the actor, was a member of the club. Who incidentally had an amazing match at All In with Christopher Daniels, which is definitely worth a watch. Uh, um, so yeah, that was all of that kind of stuff. It's like Bullet Club gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just kind of sometimes feels like it is too big. And them kicking out Tama Tonga and Tangaloa seemed like a shock, and it certainly surprised me. But actually, I think it's been beneficial in the long run because it's really established. It's given Bullet Club like a story to focus on, which is that Jay White wants to see the Gorillas suffer. Oh, and also Juice Robinson's doing his thing, but
Oh
it
yeah.
doesn't feel like BC is as aimless, rudderless, and like just drifting around compared to what it was kind of when Evil was in charge temporarily, and Jay White was sort of feuding with Evil, and Tamatonga was sort of feuding with Jay White, and they all hated Chaos, and then it just kind of got confusing.
So, speaking of Juice Robinson, I think I found his uh alternate gimmick. So I went to the convenience store before this, and then I got a little Mintias, just with
Mhm.
the mint, and then they came out with a new flavor, dry hard, dry hard Juice Robinson.
Juice, if you're watching this, we are so sorry. Please do
Dry,
not kick Suki out of Bullet Club.
dry hard Juice Robinson in the house. Sorry.
We love you, Juice.
We're just. That's
I think we've
ugly.
just found. I think we've
Yeah,
just found the episode title.
dry.
Okay, so
So,
breathe,
alright, Breeze.
Nancy. Um, yep. Um, so where do you see Bullet Club going in the future, like the near future?
Bullet Club, it's unpredictable, but I see them staying where they are, even evolving from where they are. But
Hmm.
I do see some other guys that's gonna join Bullet Club, and I see I don't know if this is gonna happen truly or not, but I see a new Bullet Club Civil War with House of
Yep,
Torture and the BC.
it'll have to.
It'll happen. It'll happen. It'll happen.
It'll happen.
Yeah, and then there's this at the back of my mind. I see Jay White getting kicked out at some point. At some
I
point,
agree.
he'll just like the other
Who?
Bullet Club leaders in the past, Jay, Kenny, all that guys. I see him getting kicked out. I see him maybe joining another company, maybe turning face and then getting kicked out. But Bullet Club is Bullet Club. They're just gonna start adding new members all the way. They got guys in Impact now. They got guys in AW. Soon,
They,
yeah.
they bring back the Young Bucks one night only to just
Only
double super kick Jay in the face, since that seems to be the tradition for
Yeah.
leadership changes.
Yeah, they bring maybe Forbidden Door 2 if it happens or not. Young Bucks and ELP just gonna kick Jay out and
Quite literally.
quite literally. Quite literally. How
Yep.
about you?
So similarly, I don't think Jay will be leader of Bullet Club for much more time, like maybe a year, a couple of years, but I can see him being replaced by ELP or Juice or someone new. I think them bringing in Juice Robinson as another kind of credible main event level heavyweight is certainly the beginning, probably in terms of the booking of getting ready to shift Jay out of BC. Whether he is the leader or whether he is just another credible main event heavyweight to go alongside Evil and presumably ELP in the fullness of time. Yep, they'll continue to gain new members because it's Bullet Club and they hoover up new members like a vacuum cleaner. House of Torture will probably wind up splitting off. Whether that then turns Bullet Club into kind of more tweeners for a bit, we'll probably see. It will depend on how well House of Torture do. But long story short, I think Bullet Club will continue to be fine.
Yeah.
But how fine they are really depends on it. I think that pretty much covers everything worth covering.
Worst cut. Yeah. I guess.
Especially.
Yeah.
So all that's left to say is thank you so much for watching. We really hope you've enjoyed. Do join us again for our next episode where we'll probably take a look at whatever's happened in New Japan in the past week. We might do another faction focus depending on what's happened or if we need to suddenly report on a massive piece of news. And we'll generally be your one-stop shop for a quick summary of everything going on in New Japan. Please do subscribe. Please leave us a like and a comment, especially if you want to comment your prediction for how early into next episode it takes for you to swear Suki. We really appreciate all the feedback we've had so far. We're really grateful for it. We do listen. We do take your feedback on board, and yep. Keep an eye out on the rest of the channel for our colleagues' amazing shows. We've got lots of reaction to Clash at the Castle, All Out, and all sorts of other things coming up very, very soon. And an exciting vlog of Take It from Clash of the Castle for you to check out if you couldn't make it there live because it was in the UK. So all that's left to say is thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day and
San. Da.